Okay, so picture this. You save the entire world. You make the ultimate sacrifice. And then? Nothing. You're just gone. Forgotten. That's the bizarre mystery at the heart of the comic series Black Hammer. And it's a story that really begins right where most superhero sagas end.
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? After a huge, reality-shattering battle, a whole team of heroes just blips out of existence. The world they saved? It just moves on, assumes they're dead. But where did they actually go?
Nope. No glorious reward, no heroic afterlife. They get a farm. A quiet little farm that they can never, ever leave. For 10 years, they've been stuck there, pretending to be normal people. It's the strange, almost tragic fate of the heroes of Spiral City. Now, these aren't just some random heroes. If you're looking at them and thinking, hey, that guy kind of looks like, well, that's on purpose. These characters are basically stand-ins for some of the biggest, most classic archetypes in all of comics. Yeah, the creators put this team together specifically so they would feel familiar, like you've known them forever. Each one is a love letter to a whole genre from the Golden and Silver Ages. You've got your patriotic brawler, your space adventurer, your magic users, the whole shebang.
And I mean, look at this. It's pretty clear, right? Golden Gail is a straight-up take on the original Captain Marvel, Shazam. Barbalien is absolutely Martian Manhunter. But this isn't just a fun spot-the-reference game. This is the whole point. The story uses these familiar faces to say something really big about where superhero stories are today.
So why'd they get exiled in the first place? It's not because of some supervillain with a grand plan. No, the real villain here, the thing that banished them, is an idea, a trend in storytelling.
And that idea is called deconstruction. For the last few decades, there's been this huge push to make our heroes more real, more flawed, more conflicted, more human. The classic hero who's just good, that started to feel a little old-fashioned, maybe even a bit silly to a lot of modern readers.
So what happens when you do that? What happens to the old-school heroes, the straightforward good guys? Well, they start to seem kind of out of place. They just don't fit in a world that's all about gritty realism.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. These characters, the very foundation of the superhero genre, started being seen as these embarrassing leftovers from a simpler time. They became relics.
And as you probably know, when a character doesn't fit the current vibe anymore, the comic book industry has let's say a time-honored way of cleaning house.
Exactly. The reboot. A big crossover event, a crisis that wipes the slate clean. And that is a perfect metaphor for what this farm is. It's a place where you send the characters who are no longer suitable, all for the so-called greater good of the universe.
I mean, listen to that phrasing, publicly executed. It's harsh, but it's not wrong. The heroes of Black Hammer got their big, noble sacrifice, and then, poof, they were just swept under the rug, erased so they wouldn't get in the way of a more serious, modern continuity.
Okay, so let's really dive into the farm itself, because this is the core metaphor of the whole story. This place isn't just a physical prison, it's a psychological one. And it shows the real cost of forcing these larger-than-life myths to be small and human.
Yeah, make no mistake, nobody's enjoying their golden years here. They are trapped. This place is a constant, daily torment, a reminder of everything they've lost, and it forces them into these little boxes they were never meant to fit in. This story uses so many amazing terms for it. It's a final resting place. It's limbo. It is literally a purgatory for superhero archetypes. It's the waiting room where old-fashioned heroes go when the world decides it's outgrown them. And they've been there for 10 years. A full decade of these cosmic, powerful beings having to pretend to be, well, us. And that pressure, that constant need to be normal and relatable, has driven every single one of them right to the edge. This quote says it all. They're not just unhappy, they're fundamentally broken. They're fighting against their own nature every single day. And the incredible irony is that the very thing that's destroying them, being human, is exactly what modern stories demand from them. So to really show us this internal struggle, the story does something brilliant. It stops treating them like a super team and starts treating them like something much more grounded, a deeply, deeply dysfunctional family. So Abraham Slam, the patriotic hero, he's now the burdened dad just trying to keep the peace. Golden Gail, who's basically a god, is stuck in the body of a little girl, so she acts out as the rebellious daughter.
Each of these domestic roles is its own little prison, perfectly showing the psychological damage of their exile by turning these epic struggles into painfully human ones. But okay, Black Hammer isn't just about pointing out what's wrong. After it spends all this time showing us the problem, it starts to ask, well, what's the solution? Where do we go from here? By showing our heroes at their absolute breaking point, the series is making a pretty bold argument. It's saying, hey, maybe this whole thing, this relentless obsession with deconstruction and grit, maybe we've taken it too far. Maybe it's time for something new.
And instead of deconstruction, it proposes reconstruction. The idea isn't to tear heroes down to find what's real. It's about building them back up. It's about finding a way to honor their mythic, sometimes silly, past while still telling stories that feel complex and modern.
And that's really the heart of it. Black Hammer is looking for that sweet spot, that place where the classic, inspiring heroes we grew up with can exist right alongside our modern need for depth. It argues that we don't actually have to choose one or the other. We can have both.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on, and it goes way beyond comics. In our culture of endless reboots, remakes, and sequels, what is our responsibility to the stories that came before? How do we honor our modern myths without either trapping them on a farm or erasing what made them special in the first place?